And welcome back,
There we go.
ladies and gentlemen, to Views from the Sidelines.
Yes, sir.
We're back, badder than ever, man. It's the new semester, the spring semester, for all those watching from home. And I know it's already been, 20 days and the month's almost over, but Happy New Year. Happy New Year from your Views from the Sideline crew.
Merry Christmas.
Absolutely.
And Merry Christmas. All those, whatever.
Happy holidays.
So yeah, guys, we're back. As always, I'm your host, Tony, but I'm also along with,
I'm Dash.
Liam.
and we will be having another guest on here soon.
Yes, we will.
We just are waiting for him. So until then, guys, it's time to finally talk hoops after I don't know how long it's been necessarily. I haven't seen you guys in
Been a minute.
It's been
in a
a minute.
But
Too long.
I'm ready. I'm
Me
ready,
too.
man. So yeah. New news, I guess, for those who are watching. The All-Star starters came out.
Yeah.
NBA,
They did.
USA versus the world. So I'm just gonna read you out the starters real quick before I get to the rules and just everything else that I got to talk about this. But we got from the East, and the way that they organized this first, they organized it into Eastern and Western Conference for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why. But yeah, the East is the Boston Celtics' own Jaylen Brown, Jalen Brunson from the New York Knicks, Tyrese Maxey from the Philadelphia 76ers, Cade Cunningham from the Detroit Pistons, and of course, Giannis Antetokounmpo leading that squad from the East versus what is quite literally a atomic bomb versus coughing baby comparison. But we got Steph Chef, look at Curry, man. At the one. These are not really position-based, clearly, because the East is full of guards.
I was going to say that because they have 4 guards on their squad. And
Yeah,
one, not even a center, so.
In order to align with the whole, we're going to make a Team USA versus the world, they decided to go positionless for voting this year.
Okay.
Which, we're gonna see how well that ended up turning out for them. But yes, Steph Curry, Luka Doncic from the Lakers, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the MVP and Finals MVP, defending champ, Nikola Jokic, and Victor Wembanyama. So yeah, for those who don't know, the way that they're organizing it this year is that 2 teams of American players and 1 team of international players or world players are going to have at least 8 players on their rosters. With selections made without positional requirements. So you could literally have 1 Team USA team full of nothing but guards, just cuz. So, yeah, and then it's going to be a round-robin tournament with 4 12-minute games. Team 1, Team 2, and Team 3. Team 3 will be Team World waiting in the final, which, I guess they just get a bye for those Team USA players. Yeah. Interesting. The reserves don't come out yet. They don't come out yet until February 1st. But one of the starters for Team World, Victor Wembanyama, he said that, quote, for this game, because apparently in former All-Star games, the players don't try. And Wemby, as a parent of last year, that since he's been an All-Star, he was trying during that first All-Star game.
He's going to try.
And he's going to try to make all of his teammates try. According to him, he says, I want to push the players of this sport to play in the All-Star game just as hard as I will. We'll see how it goes, but if they don't play hard, I'll do it without them.
I love Wemby, man.
As
Hard not to.
It is hard not to. I don't know, man. Like, the vibes that I get from Wemby is that he is ready to, like, change. We've always said that he's ready to change the league, but he wants to, in a way, rejuvenate some of the great parts about basketball and All-Star Weekend. So give me your guys' thoughts about, 1, the format and the way that it's shaping out, but also Wemby's attitude towards the All-Star game.
Yeah, I think this is a great attitude. And the thing about the format is we can change it every year if we want. It has been changing every year for, I want to say, the past 4 or 5 years. And it's just, nothing has worked. But I think the reason it hasn't worked isn't because of the format. It's kind of what Wemby's pointing out here is no one tries. It's like a pickup game where you're playing with a bunch of your friends and no one's taking it seriously.
Yeah.
And you're out there having fun. You're not being competitive. And so us, the viewer at home, we want to watch all the stars play, but we're not watching them be stars. We're watching them be just basketball players. And while that may be fun.
Just getting cardio.
Exactly. And to me, the Saturday games are probably the most fun thing because that's where they are trying. Like the 3-point contest, they are trying. The dunk contest, they are. Like that's the day where you're actually.
Well, I don't know about the dunk contest, but, we can talk about that later.
I just think that's the more entertaining day because they're actually doing something very entertaining for the viewer at home. And so to see Wemby maybe trying to change this mentality and get everyone to try, that's great because the last All-Star game that I can remember was entertaining was 2020 when they first introduced, that was the year that they did the Kobe score.
Legendary.
Where in the fourth quarter you had to get to 24. And so that was last year that it really did feel competitive. And so if we can get back to playing like that, then I think we've solved the All-Star problem. But just to change the format is not really going to do much.
Well, before I give my take, I do have one thing to say.
Oh.
And it's look at my shirt. Snubbed.
Damn.
Absolute snub.
Damn. Here, let me get a zoom. Let me get a zoom in real quick. Yeah, talk about it. Move the mic.
Yeah, how about
Who would you want him over? That's
Jalen
my
Brunson.
one.
Wow.
Compare the stats. I mean, Donovan Mitchell's done what he's done. He's scored more points. He's done it more efficiently. He gets more boards. He averages 1 less assist. He gets more steals. He's done it without a good supporting cast because Darius Garland's been hurt most of the year. And they nearly have the same record at this point. The Knicks can't win a game.
Yeah. 9 of the last 12
Yeah.
lost. We'll get that to later, but yeah.
In my opinion, I don't see the argument of Jalen Brunson over Donovan Mitchell.
Well, they're currently 1-1 against each other so far this regular season. I mean, Brunson's averaging 28.7. Mitchell's averaging 26.6
on the season.
This season,
Mitchell's averaging
27.9.
Mitchell's averaging 27.9.
Oh, sorry, that was all time. That was all time comparison.
Yeah, Brunson's averaging 27.9, and then Mitchell's averaging 28.9.
Okay. All right. Well, it sounds like you have
62% true shooting versus Brunson's 59. Mitchell's averaging 5 rebounds a game compared to Brunson's, I think, 2.5.
Why do you think that the Cavs might not get that nod from the All-Star voters?
I think there's 2 things.
D-Mitch.
I think there's 2 things. One, I think, is how disappointing they've been. And I think, if we see the Cavs at the 1 seed like everyone expected, Donovan Mitchell is definitely a starter. And I do think that's a fair critique. However, Donovan Mitchell's having his best year for the Cavaliers. It's not been on Donovan Mitchell. He's been efficient. He's been scoring at will. He just, without Darius Garland, he's doesn't have a lot of help offensively. Losing Ty Jerome was a huge creator. And then Darius Garland going out, there's no other engine for the offense. So it's all through him, but he's having a career year. He should absolutely be a starter.
The engine for the offense should be your young core, the guys that you guys believed in.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, while D-Mitch is, putting on a clinic in his own way, are you sure that he's the guy to mesh well with these players to embetter their development? Because some people might argue maybe if D-Mitch wasn't on this team, maybe they would be flowing better.
I disagree. I think last year showed that. D-Mitch took a step back last year, and the young guys really stepped it up. And he's been really, really good at. If you're watching each individual game, he does a really good job of picking his moments. He knows when Mobley's going off, and he will let Mobley go off until Mobley goes cold. The same thing with Garland. I think the bigger issue this year has just been the absence of Garland. I think that's why Mitchell's taking over so heavily. Is he's playing point guard. He's not a point guard. He's a shooting guard, but he's playing point guard. He's been playing point guard all year basically because there's no Garland to handle the ball. And so it's been a little bit like going back to the Jazz Donovan Mitchell because he's taken over because he's had to, not because he wants to. And I think last year he knows that they're going to win with him taking a step back when everyone else takes a step up. But this year everyone took a step back, so he had to take a step up.
I mean, I see it. I see it. He probably will be. He'll still be in the All-Star game, but not as a starter. But he will most likely be one of the starters for one of the Team USA teams because, I mean,
he did say he wanted to play for the world team for Panama because he's Panamanian, but I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think you need to give Team World any more leverage.
No, they just.
I think they might.
Americans, man.
I don't know why they're getting the bye. I understand it because there's probably going to be more USA players and world players, but that world players team is going to be stacked.
They have the top tier talent. And is Shea's playing for the world?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. He's Canada.
So they have
I do think that one thing they could do is to just to make it fair is make it the Americas versus the world. Just to give Shea and Jamal Murray.
Because you hear that, Adam Silver?
The world does not need Shea. America needs Shea.
I will say, I mean, the Toronto Raptors are in the National Basketball Association, not the International Basketball Association. So there could be some truth to that.
Shea needs to be on the American team because the American team needs help.
You're arguably giving the world team the 5 best players in the world. Shea, Luka, Wemby, Jokic, and Giannis.
Yeah.
I mean,
that is the lineup.
I don't even know if it's
obviously if Jokic.
It's not. If you were picking your starting 5,
in my opinion,
if you were picking your starting 5 out of guys in the league right now, if you know ball, that is probably your starting 5. You have 2 guards, and you have. I mean, you don't really have a small forward, but you could throw Giannis at the 3, and then Jokic and Wemby like. Tell me that's not the greatest lineup you've ever heard of.
It's a big lineup for sure. I mean, like Wemby said, he's going to try, and if the others don't try, that's fine. He's still gonna ball. But I will say, if you're Team USA and your opponent is Wemby, who he says that he's gonna try to engage his teammates on trying. That I'm assuming that means that Team World is going to go ham, and Team USA has to match that.
I hope so. I hope so. And
I think what Wemby is doing, might seem small on a scale, but it could kick off something large. And what you're saying is, if one person is stepping up, like if you're talking about Victor Wembanyama wanting to play well, he's going to look like a freak out there if he's the only one trying. And so Team USA is not going to want that look. And so if you push them and then the world team now is like, oh, we have to compete with them, you're going to get a game.
Hopefully.
I mean, you saw last year when the rookies played against the All-Star team in their first round matchup when they were doing this bracket. They were trying.
Oh, yeah.
They were fighting for their lives. And and the All-Star team, low-key, had to lock in because they were within 2 points at certain times of the game.
Yeah.
Maybe they even took leads at certain part of the game. I don't remember because I don't really care about the All-Star game that much. But, yeah, if Wemby does galvanize the troops,
that could be big.
Now, I won't say that is a credit to Adam Silver. Adam Silver, I'm looking at you right now. Hold on. I'm looking at you right now, not the ghost next to me. Adam Silver, if this weekend is a success, it is not because of you. It's because of Victor Wembanyama.
Agree.
He came to save the league.
Yeah.
Victor Wembanyama is the face of the future of the NBA, and I could not be happier. He is an incredible player. He is incredible off the court.
McClay's coming in.
He is so good for the game. He's a competitor. He just wants to get better. I mean, we saw it in the offseason, training with the Monks, training with Kareem and Hakeem. And
he's a culture guy, too.
He's big into culture. He's a reader. He's
beating the drum. He's shaving his head with Keldon Johnson.
He is, man, he's everything we needed in a face of the league kind of guy. And so excited So excited to have him.
No, yeah. He's good. He's good for the league, for sure.
He's so
Yeah,
good.
I mean, the problem has never been the format. The onus has always been on the players. And so it's just finding a way to motivate them, or if they finally choose themselves. And I guess Wemby is finally going to be that guy to speak up. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
The reserves come out February 1st.
They do.
And the All-Star game itself will be starting around, let's say February 13th through the 15th.
I do have one quick question.
Yes.
If the world is trying, how many free throws is Shea going to shoot?
they better not.
I don't think the refs are going to call foul.
I
may
hope
finally
not.
see a game where Shea does not shoot a free throw.
I'm going to be
They say basketball.
I'm going to be so real. It's either they're going to call the foul straight from the gate and there's going to be memes all over the place and so I just turned on the game, Shea's already at the free throw line, or he might not get the ball that close to the end of the game because Team USA, I'm assuming, is going to have guys like Cade, KD, Jaylen Brown, and Donovan Mitchell. They're going to have other guys that you might want to. I know it's crazy. He's the MVP, so they're probably going to give him the ball, but I wouldn't blow the whistle if I was a ref at an All-Star.
No, I hope they don't blow the whistle, but I will say I do think Shea only foul baits because it works. He doesn't have to. Like we know that if he's not trying to foul bait, he's gonna hit the mid range. It's going in.
He doesn't have to, but
He has no need.
He likes the shoulder bump.
He does.
Score at will if he wanted to, but they call it for him, so why
They do.
not try?
I mean,
Why
if
not?
they call it, you gotta. I don't know.
You got to try. Speaking of got to try, there are a lot of teams that might need to try out for something new. Gentlemen, it's been a couple days since JK, Jonathan Kuminga, requested his trade from the Golden State Warriors, which, by the way, Warriors dumpster fire nightmare situation. He just went out of the game with an ankle and knee injury. And Jimmy Butler tore his ACL. Lots to unpack there. We'll get to it eventually. Don't worry. We'll tailor it to you, man. If Edward was here, I would ask you what's your pulse? But don't worry, we're gonna get to it. Between Jonathan Kuminga, Trae Young, who already got traded, he left. They sent the signal that
No first round picks.
I'm gonna go for CJ McCollum and who else? I don't even remember.
CJ and Corey.
Corey Kispert and no picks. Interesting.
First of all, who
Crazy.
has ever asked for a trade to the Wizards?
There's.
I thought that was a Sottile tweet the first time I saw it.
I thought so too, and it was his main destination. You had one job. You had one job, Trae Young. You were supposed to keep CJ McCollum in purgatory for what he's done with the CBA as president with the second apron. His job was to suffer in DC and not see the light of day after what you did, giving him hope. Well, actually, no, it's not even hope because Atlanta fans already hate him. So maybe it's not totally your fault, but damn it, man, they had a good thing going. They had a good thing going, keeping him there. But there's been a lot of trade rumors and also / trade requests. Maybe not formal trade requests, but the Giannis situation, the Ja Morant situation, Jimmy Butler, even though he's injured, the Warriors are looking to maybe shop him as well. Me personally, I like to see the writing on the wall when I know something is just not worth waiting for. And these players, they're making themselves available to these teams, and teams like the Warriors, the Bucks, the Cavs, even the Knicks. They look like they're headed towards uncertainty as far as their identity in the league. And yet nobody's thrown their hat in the ring for a trade yet. Should these teams be okay with waiting by the deadline if they want to change something up? Or do you feel like that those teams are going to be hurting themselves in the long run by not seeing this writing on the wall and making a change now before the market for these players that they might want starts to heat up? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a tough one. I think, the first one that comes to mind for me is the Bucks and Giannis, right?
Yeah.
We're all waiting. Is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? I don't think it's going to happen. I think Giannis is there to stay for now. And if you're the Bucks, you're doing everything you can.
Liam, you're shaking your head. Explain.
I I don't think he's going to get traded by the deadline. I think that would be utterly ridiculous because teams are going to try and lowball because they're not going to want to give up that much midway through.
You saw what Trae Young got traded for about a month ago. So
The Hawks GM might be the worst negotiator in the league. That might have been the Wizards' first offer. Who knows? But I agree with Dash. I don't think he'll get traded at the deadline.
Wow.
I do think he will get traded in the offseason, though. I don't know if you guys
He'll
saw
have
the
a year
clip.
left in that contract.
I don't know if you guys saw the clip of the Bucks fans booing them at halftime.
Oh, yeah.
And then Giannis came
booed
out
them back.
and booed back. I just think this is a situation that's getting out of hand. The Bucks seem to have no interest in building any team around him, and it sucks to see him interact with the fan base like that because it was just 5 years ago that he was crying on that court after bringing them their first championship in 50 years. And now to see that franchise fall into this, I think is really sad. And I think it's time to part ways. But continue.
I think, real quick before I continue with what you're saying about these trades, yeah, the Giannis situation. I'm someone that wholeheartedly believes after that moment with the booing, that destroyed it for me. That severed it for me because you can joke, and I know Giannis, he's a jokey guy, but in a moment where the fans, they're upset at this situation. They're tired of the incompetent office that has happened within the last couple of years. Yes, you got a championship out of it, but what now? And in this moment where you know that you have set the message that, yeah, my agent's going to try to look for other options for me until a certain time of day within the season maybe, and you go out and boo the fans that cheered you, that raised you in your stadium. That is so disrespectful, and I hate to say, but Giannis, that is the stupidest thing that you could have done.
Wow, I'm on the full opposite side.
Wow. Oh, tell me.
I think that, if he's on the team that they're booing, and it was, I think the biggest reason they're booing is because of Giannis, because they don't want to lose Giannis, and the front office is abysmal, but I think it's no player wants to get booed, no star player in a small market especially. It's the guys like the Giannis's, the LeBrons, where the whole city is about them. And when that starts to fall apart and the fans start to take it out on the player and the team, I think the fans owe Giannis everything.
They do.
He's the Bucks. And so I think, man, they were being disrespectful, and I think
Okay.
I think that Giannis was upset, rightfully so. And I think they can reconcile. I think the issue is more the fans with the ownership and Giannis with the ownership. It all comes down to what the ownership does this offseason. I think there's a world where he gets traded this offseason, but there's also a world where the ownership gets their stuff together and they start to actually make moves, try to build a team around Giannis, and we all live happily ever after. So we're going to see.
I guess, yeah. I guess that goes back to the main question that I was going to ask, is that do you think that the Bucks at this point, they're trying the experiment that they got right now, them and a lot of other teams, do you think teams should just start making calls? Because I'm someone that loves to see early calls where you can get early chemistry going with the new teammates that you got. I don't know. It seems like there's been a lot of trade requests, a lot of rumors, a lot of availability, but nobody's shooting. Nobody's buying.
Absolutely. I would, if I were running pretty much any team in the league, I would try and shoot an offer. This is Giannis we're talking about, so I'm sure if anyone knew that Luka was on the market, which I don't think teams did, almost every team would have placed a call because you would put half your team on the line for a guy like this. And so the league is definitely more aware that this situation is fractured, and so people know that he's available in a way. Now, we don't know if the Bucks have said anything or if they are taking phone calls, but if I were a team, I would check in. I think it would be pretty difficult to get a deal done within the next few weeks. What is the deadline?
The deadline is February 3rd.
2 weeks.
So roughly 3 weeks.
I think it would be pretty difficult to get a good deal done. I think the Bucks are probably not trying to rush this trade, if anything, because this would be a major move. Obviously, they would reset their franchise. So I don't think they're willing to just make a move like that. So I think it would be pretty difficult to get a trade done within the next 2 weeks. But for sure, if I'm the Bucks, I'm probably taking calls towards the end of the year and trying to work out a deal this summer.
All right. Well, if you're the Bucks, maybe you don't lose hope. Maybe you say, you know what? We got nothing else that we can offer, but Ja Morant, you are talented, and you're one of the people that has formally been like, yep, I'm out, essentially. Everything, when it comes to teammates, videos leaked online, whatever, the boy's gone. And whether for better or for worse, the Bucks is one of those teams that I think that should be shooting messages to other teams. If you're not going to give away Giannis, what are you going to do to make him stay? So, again, do these teams need to start getting more active before the trade deadline happens?
I think so. I think in the Eastern Conference, yes.
Mm.
In the West, no. In the West, you sit back. You're probably not beating the Thunder and the Spurs and the Nuggets if you're not one of those teams.
Yeah.
In the East, I like taking a shot. There's no one. I mean, I don't trust the Pistons in the playoffs. The Knicks look rough. The Cavs look rough. The Celtics are going to be interesting. If Jason Tatum comes back, then maybe they are the best team in the East. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
But the East is a mess. If I'm the Bucks, if I'm the Cavs, if I'm trying something.
Okay.
To put us over the edge. I was really hoping for a Cavs Giannis trade.
Cleveland, this is for you. Like I can't see that. I can't see that happening. I mean, they have the assets, yes.
Yeah, but
I mean, I think that's the right attitude that these teams need to have.
agreed.
Again, is it aggressive? Yes, but look at the league now. The West, unless something amazing happens with a Pacers and Halliburton, black magic situation, the East did not look like they were going to be champions, at least for a while.
Yeah.
Because you got teams like the Thunder, you got teams like the Spurs. So Eastern teams, they need to make moves. I agree.
Yeah, I don't think there's anyone besides Giannis that seems to be on the market from our perspective that would really put a team over the top besides maybe a Ja Morant, but even then you can't really rely on a player like that. And so a team like a Detroit or a Boston or even a New York should probably take a shot just to see if they could get any player to help with depth and just put them right over the top, because it's going to be hard to beat a San Antonio or a OKC coming out of the playoffs. But if you are in the East, you only got to face one of those teams.
You do.
And so you have to
You got to win one series.
You have to build
against the West.
yourself
Yeah.
to get there and to know you're going to get there. Because like Dash said, the Pistons, we don't really know who they are. They're having a great regular season, but we've seen this with OKC before, where they were the first seed and they had a very young core and they were out in the second round. And with Boston, again, they're playing really well, but they're missing their superstar, and we don't know who Jason Tatum is going to be when he comes back. And the Knicks and the Cavs seem like the two most consistent teams in the East right now, but even they aren't playing up to their level or what we thought they would be. And so for one of these teams, if you want to have a better shot, you just have to get somebody. You don't have to get a star, but you just have to build your roster to be ready in April and in May.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, because we're talking about these guys in the East, let's switch to one team that definitely some of our hosts here on this show are waiting for to make some sort of noise. The Golden State Warriors. Yeah, just about let's say 40 something minutes ago, probably more than that, probably like 2 hours ago. Kuminga hurt himself. And not just hurting himself. I mean, he hurt himself, the team, Steve Kerr, Joe Lacob. There's nothing that I really think about the Golden State Warriors as a team right now that screams we can still make this work. So, Liam, how you doing, my man?
Not great. I mean, you have the Niners lose on Saturday.
Don't tell me.
The next day, that injury curse has to transfer to the only other Bay Area team that's playing ball right now.
Yeah, and the Niners were in the stadium. I think it was CMC and
It was
and the
CMC.
Juice.
He sacrificed his entire roster to stay healthy.
Someone needs to look into CMC's magic and this electrical substation. Did he bring it with him?
The substation.
Did he bring the electricity with him? No one knows.
No one knows.
No one knows.
No one knows. But this is a basketball pod,
Okay,
gentlemen.
let's get back to it.
Yeah.
This team is done. Steph Curry is obviously your best player. And Jimmy Butler was the only life you had at anything else scoring-wise.
I guess.
And now that he's gone, we know for the rest of this season, obviously, and most likely for the first month or so of next season, you don't know what's going to happen. And I'm looking at tonight. They lost to a Mavericks team that wasn't good, or that isn't good, sorry. Steph Curry played 34 minutes and had 38 points. The next highest player with the most minutes was Brandon Podziemski with 33. And he had 9 points. That is not going to work, obviously. And we know who Jonathan Kuminga can be when he's healthy. But everyone knows there's something going on with him in this locker room. His head coach does not want him to play. He was a DNP for about 25 games, even after the best start to a season he's had.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes out after 9 minutes and scoring 10 points. And he was 3 for 3 in that stretch. And so you just have to wonder what's going to happen, because Steph Curry only has 1 to 2 years left in him. And you are just not getting any production from anyone else on this squad. And they were an 8th seed with Jimmy Butler. And without him, you might be a 12th seed. And Warriors fans like me are just going to have to deal with that fact that this is not a good team.
It's not right now. And my Bay Area family, my Warriors fans family, are going to be mad when I say this, but this whole situation could have been prevented by one person. The guy that took the castle that Mark Jackson made and decided to claim as his own. Legendary player, won 10 championships as a player and as a coach. I don't know how many individuals out there got an impressive resume as he does, and most qualified. But Steve Kerr, you have to claim responsibility for what the future of this team is going to look like. I understand that since the departure of Bob Myers, the staff, the decisions, and the decision to not go away from Pods and whoever else was in the rumors for that deal for Lauri Markkanen, and deciding to stay with who you got instead, and then eventually go on to an aging Jimmy who, no matter what, even if he is still somehow on this Warriors roster, his days before Miami were already fading away. The days of him being a productive basketball player now are gone. Which is terrible of me to say, but this team now, with the situation with Kuminga and Jimmy, and not understanding how to make a balance of the two, or even a balance with Draymond as well with his antics, this was your team. This was your team that you had for so many years been able to figure out how to balance all these personalities. And what was the difference of this team that had so much little talent compared to the teams of prior, where you have won championships, where you've had egos clash together? What didn't work here? I don't understand how that is someone that has had this resume, didn't make this work. And now you guys are going to have to suffer for it. So what do you guys do here? Is it just a dumpster fire? Do you give Steve Kerr a slap on the wrist and say, hey, man, you've done so much for us, but you need to start doing your job, or you're going to be in the hot seat a couple years?
Yeah, I think Steve Kerr's gone after Steph retires. I think I can't say he's a bad coach, because he's obviously not, but he got gifted one of the best rosters of all time, one of the best players of all time, the best trio of all time, possibly.
Yeah.
His first season, he came into possession of a team that went out in the second round and went to 6 with the defending champions. That team went to 6 with the team that went on to be the champions, the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah.
And he got gifted that team. And in his first season, he won an NBA championship, which was great. And that put him on the right track. And obviously, the next year, the greatest record of all time. You have to give him credit for coaching that team because
Of course.
that was a team that was less talented than the 2017 Warriors with Kevin Durant, obviously, but had a lot of chemistry. And I will give him credit for producing that chemistry.
And obviously the Thunder, they're not going to be 74-8, which it's clearly like they did the impossible. And
I think it just shows how hard it is to win 73 games in the NBA. And so being able to coach that roster is impressive. But after that ring 4 seasons ago, I think you've just seen how this organization has fallen off. Was Bob Myers really the leader of this franchise? Because Bob Myers wasn't the best drafter, but he was willing to go out there and pick up players in free agency that produce. Like we saw with the 2022 team, that was not that talented of a team. But he drafted Jordan Poole. He went out and got Andrew Wiggins. He saw something in Andrew Wiggins that nobody else did. And that team produced. And after 2 seasons, they decided to make a huge trade for Jimmy Butler. And last year might have been...
just in the last couple of years.
Might have been our last shot. I think last season was probably Steph Curry's last chance at a championship. And it sucked that he had to go down. And again, that is just bad Bay Area injury luck. But you see with this season that they're just complacent. They decided not to do anything in the offseason. Anything. They drafted Will Richard, which in perspective might have been a good pick, but he has been so inconsistent so far. He had 0 points today in 13 minutes, and he's shown flashes of maybe like a Jordan Poole, and even Poole took 4 years to develop, but at this point in Steph Curry's career...
starting to come astride too.
Exactly. Like you trade... That Chris Paul trade has to be looked at as one of the worst trades in NBA history. I think Jordan Poole... They signed him to a 4-year, $120 million contract and traded him after 1 year. And that just made no sense at all. As a Warriors fan, I was baffled because you're in win-now mode with Steph Curry, but you drafted a player that didn't help you and you shipped him off the next year.
And again, was that the fault of... Who is the GM? Mike Dunleavy?
It was Mike Dunleavy.
Okay.
Yes.
Was that his fault? Or... was that the incompetency of Steve Kerr?
That's the question we're all asking, and no one knows except the people inside the building. And so just to see how poorly this organization has been run, right now, I think the second best player on this team is Kuminga. And for the last year, he's been in trade talks. And for the last 2 months, everyone has known he's not going to be on this team next year. Opening day of the NBA season, he's not going to be playing for the Warriors. That is a fact. And just the way that he has been treated like he has no talent is ridiculous because we've seen the talent he has and you just don't know what is going on. And your franchise, the face of the league the past 15 years, his career is dwindling and he is still playing some of the best basketball of his career and you have no urgency to do anything for him. And if they are this bad when he's on the team, imagine how bad they're going to be when he leaves. And so, in my opinion, they should go all in right now if they can, if they want to. But they should go all in to give Steph one more shot at anything. And no matter what, they are going to be a bottom franchise again after he retires. And they have to accept
it. It's okay. It is okay.
It is absolutely okay. Teams that get gifted great players, the only team I can think of that lost an all-time great and bounced back was the Spurs. Yeah. But even then, they are one of the best run organizations. They are one of the best drafting teams in the league, and they had a Kawhi, they had a Manu, they had a Tony Parker, and so just it is completely okay. But to me, it is how they are treating these last couple years, like Steph has 10 more years in him, and they are treating it like they haven't been one of the best organizations. they're going back to their old ways before a Joe Lacob. And so I think you just have to be okay with the fact that you are going to have to reset after Steph retires, but it's just how you treat those final years.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but also I think they're stuck in limbo because they're not in a position to go all in. They haven't been. Even the 2022 year where they won it all, that team, I mean, they found some magic, but that was not the best team in the league. They found the magic to go win a championship. And I think that's the issue is part of it is they do feel like we owe it to Steph to get him, his rings, all his rings before he leaves. But that simply just isn't going to work when you don't have it in the cards. And I think that the trade for Jimmy Butler was that idea of we got to get Steph his rings before he leaves and we got to commit. But that's been the issue is if they've been stuck in limbo between trying to develop the young guys, the Kumingas, the whatever, the Pajemskis, whoever it may be at the time. And they've been stuck in limbo with doing that and trying to compete. And Steve Kerr is always going to lean towards the veterans, the guys who they're trying to win every night. They're not
always going to defer.
Yeah,
he's going to defer to Draymond Green.
He is,
and Steph Curry, obviously, who probably doesn't have a much hand in those teammate conversations. I think he just loves to lead by example, and they know his legacy is great and that he's going to be great. And I think Steph, he knows his role that he leads this team, and plays ball, but doesn't get involved into the terrible conversations.
I think, and part of it is just Steph got a lot of rings. He got a lot of rings, and I think
4.
I think
where are you at, Klay Thompson? Put up your 4.
Part of what they need to do is
do that again. Because Klay ain't here. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them.
You got to hold them up like this.
Part of it is just you kind of got to let it go when it's not there and do what's best for the franchise. And I don't think they're doing that. I think they just are stuck in limbo. And I think part of it is having Steve Kerr as the coach because Steve Kerr is there to win with Steph Curry. And part of it is obviously having Steph Curry and not feeling like you're wasting him. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, he got 4 rings. He's been with the team the whole time. It's a hard situation to be in because obviously you feel like you're doing the right thing, trying to get him something, but they've gotten all they can. And I think it's time to accept it. I think it's time to reset, rebuild, and that's okay. And it's okay to do that with Steph on the roster. It's okay to let him be a mentor in his final years.
No, of course. And I think, finish.
And I think that's okay. And find somebody that you can commit to at this point in time. Steph maybe has 1 or 2 years left. And, he can go for more, but I imagine it's in the next year or two. And maybe find him that guy this offseason that you want him to mentor, that you want him to be the voice on the shoulder of, because it's time to give up the championship dreams for Steph's last ring. That was 2022. And I think we all kind of knew it.
He knew it too, maybe when he won it.
I think they did.
Those emotions.
They knew.
But you got to do something, I think, still. Well, I don't think it's completely time to throw in the towel, but until then, it's Steph's legacy. But you know who else's legacy that might get affected pretty soon? Gents, I know that this is a basketball podcast, and I just told you guys off talking about the Niners. But there's a new kid in Chicago.
There is.
And this kid came from who else but our alma mater, USC, our Heisman, Caleb Williams. And my question to you boys is, within the last playoffs, those who are not NFL fans who just watch us for basketball, the NFL playoffs happened, and the Bears that Caleb Williams mans as quarterback took them past the wild card and to the divisional. Lost to the Los Angeles Rams, but pulled off an amazing game and was probably one DJ Moore not giving up on his route away from going to the Super Bowl. Or at least going to the NFC Championship. So my question is, boys, do you guys think that Chicago kids, Chicago natives, the young people, you and me, do you think that they think that growing up and the cool thing is being Caleb Williams and not Michael Jordan?
I've been seeing this. I've been seeing the talk about it. And one thing actually that I will add to this is that I have been hearing a lot of people in Chicago. There's a big section of people in Chicago who believe that Derrick Rose is more culturally significant than Michael Jordan. I think Michael Jordan lacks a little bit of the connection to today's people in Chicago, and I think Derrick Rose is kind of the cool thing in Chicago, and but he's been gone for a while.
Yeah,
and so I think it's time for someone else to take over. It's not coming from the basketball team.
Yeah, unfortunately,
gotta find someone. It's gonna be football or basketball, and I think Caleb's got a shot.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Michael Jordan retired in the early 2000s, so it's been, for people like our age, their entire lifetime, he hasn't played, obviously. And so you hear the story of him, but you've never watched a live game. And so it's hard to idolize someone like that when you watch them play and you hear about them. And yes, he might be the greatest basketball player of all time, but you want someone you can watch.
Second.
You want someone you can watch and support for the good years of your life that you can look up to and say, that is my athlete. And so I think, obviously, the Bulls are not producing anyone like that right now.
But Bucelis.
But Chicago is a football town, honestly.
They're turned up, man.
The Bears haven't been good in a while, but they are still one of the cornerstone franchises of the league just because of Chicago is arguably one of the biggest cities in the U.S. And so you want those towns to have a big football presence like an LA does and a Boston does and a New York does not right now, but who knows? And so I think having someone as talented and as exciting as Caleb is really good for a town like Chicago because after being bad for this long and you're finally getting a taste of something, especially with a very exciting player who does things like a Patrick Mahomes, I think he is the closest we've seen to Mahomes since he came in the league. Just play style wise. Obviously, he's not nearly as good. He hasn't won a Super Bowl yet. He will be Super Bowl bound. He will win an MVP in his career. And I think this year, if you're a Bears fan, right now, that is probably one of the best places to be in looking to the future. Ben Johnson and Caleb are going to be a great connection for years to come. And
absolutely. Him, Colston Loveland.
In their first year together,
Romo Dunze
to be
GOAT.
3 points away from an NFC championship and having probably one of the greatest Bears seasons of all time is impressive and exciting for Chicago.
No, absolutely.
I mean, he got nothing on Jay Cutler, but he's cool.
The Bears still do not have a 4,000-yard passer in their franchise. Caleb was...
He was, I think, only 80 yards shy.
He was 58 yards off.
He was 58 yards shy.
He had 3,942 yards.
Man.
Wow.
Yeah, most by a Bear ever. So,
yeah,
interesting.
I think that if the Bears continue this hot streak that they're on, I've already seen more Chicago Bear Caleb Williams jerseys than I've ever seen a Bear jersey in general out in public. And yeah, the narrative that Michael Jordan, we couldn't see him, so obviously we can't really idolize him as much. I don't know if that's completely true because people in Cleveland who are younger than you guys, who are 10, who literally weren't born to see LeBron James, are wearing LeBron James youth jerseys. And that's because Cleveland is still all about LeBron.
They are.
Even after he left.
It's true.
And at the same time, I think cities are always looking for a new idol. You don't want to be relying like a San Francisco.
Yeah.
Joe Montana and Jerry Rice are the greatest QB receiver connection of all time. But we're not really focusing on them right now. Obviously, my grandparents love them. But, right now, a CMC or a Kittle is the most popular, and a Steph is now the athlete.
Yeah.
And obviously, that is for reasons because he has 4 rings. And a Caleb...
Or them.
Caleb isn't up there yet, but I think if he does produce an MVP or a Super Bowl, you will see him rise in popularity over Michael Jordan because while LeBron maybe like the face of Cleveland. Cleveland is a small market. Chicago is not. Chicago is one of the bigger markets in U.S. sports. And so, especially in a place like that, you always want new and fresh athletes instead of just relying on someone from the past 30 years. So.
Yeah, I think touching on the small market, big market thing is a big deal because the big market is always, the big market teams are always going to have a leg up. They have the free agency pull. They got all of it. They're always going to have a leg up in every sport pretty much. And so like the Bay Area, huge market. So there's Chicago, huge market. And so they are going to always be looking for those new people. Whereas something like Cleveland, like it's got to be somebody homegrown. You're not going to sign the face of the league.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. But LeBron is going, LeBron, I believe, is going to sell Cleveland jerseys far longer than a Heat jersey, far longer than an LA Lakers jersey. There's an argument for the LA Lakers just because people will buy Lakers.
People are going to buy Lakers jerseys. I think people will probably buy more Luka Doncic jerseys by the end of
I agree.
Luka's Laker career if he continues with LA.
And
presumably.
LeBron's played not that much of his career with Cleveland, but I mean, when you think of LeBron, what team is the first that come to mind?
Of course,
Cleveland, right? He won more championships in Miami. He won just as many championships in LA, but he's a Cavalier forever and will be.
Yeah. I think your point about homegrown is super important too because he is from Cleveland, and so he represents Cleveland.
But Caleb's from DC, who went to OU and then SC.
But I'm saying that LeBron is such a huge face in Cleveland still to this day because he is Cleveland, whereas a Caleb can be the face of Chicago because he is their current star, and because while Chicago is such a huge city, you're not really gonna get that hometown vibe from a Chicago. Whereas at Cleveland, it's a smaller market and you could get athletes from there, but because they just happen to get the greatest player of all time is from that city, it's such a blessing for them to know that and to have him from there. And that's why he's such an idol. Whereas like in the big markets like LA, there's a lot of NBA players from LA, but not a lot of people are going to know that because of how many stars go to LA from other towns.
And touching on that very briefly, the homegrown aspect matters regardless of if it's a big market, small market. What I touched on earlier is Derrick Rose being a bigger name in Chicago than Michael Jordan, right? Being more culturally significant. He was born in Chicago. He was raised in Chicago. He's Chicago through and through, and I think that's why he was such a big part of the culture and so beloved. And so the homegrown aspect is a big deal. And so I think that's also kind of the missing part of the puzzle for Caleb.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. I agree. I think that makes sense. Hey, I just personally believe that Jordan's going to have to release another documentary when Caleb wins the Super Bowl in the next 3 years. But
3? Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know about that one.
Hey, it's going to be, I think it's before the extension kicks in is the best window. So
It is, but that is also the hardest window to.
Yeah.
Sometimes, but I mean, they're close. So one more big signing in the offseason, then
they're more than one signing away from a Super Bowl.
But look who just crawled through the window, quite literally, Jonathan Sottile. Ladies and gentlemen, introduce yourself, man. My brother.
Yeah, no, you're good. My name's John Sottile, so I've been on Talk. Yeah, Sottile. Been on Talk Troy for a little bit here. Last semester's first semester. Avid Knicks fan.
Yes.
Can't state that enough, even despite what's going on right now. Cannot state that enough. I'm from California, family's from back east, so, a little bit of that stuff.
All right.
Well, welcome in.
Thanks.
Thank you to have you.
Yeah,
welcome.
thank you for coming through. Yeah. Y'all didn't see that, but he literally crawled underneath to try to get to us. So that was amazing. But that's the movie magic that we hear. Don't show you guys because he just appeared. And it's great. We just got done talking about how Caleb might be, more influential in Chicago than Jordan is right now to young people.
Yeah.
But since you're just talking about the Knicks, let's just talk about it, man.
Ouch.
The New Year's been kind of the worst version of the Knicks so far. The 2026 Knicks are not looking so hot, man.
No.
They lost 9 of their last 12 games, and some of those L's, they've come through, Sacramento.
Yeah. No, don't even get me started.
And although they just beat the Nets down historically so bad, 122-66 in the big 2026. But I feel like that speaks more about the Nets being atrocious. The Knicks are still the 3 seed.
Yeah.
However, the Pistons, who you guys beat narrowly, and some people would argue that shouldn't have gotten a game in one of those series, in their series, and beat them in 6. And the Jason Tatum-less and dynasty-less players of no Porzingis, no Drew Holiday. Their starting centers, Neemias Queta. The Celtics are the 2nd seed.
Yeah.
So it just makes me wonder what happened to the team that beat the Pistons and were almost 2 games away from going to the finals for the first time since the Bill Clinton office. Like what's going on, man?
Dude, I have no clue, right? You saw it during the NBA Cup. That looked like a team that was going to do damage. I was very comfortable. I even was making bets with people. Oh, they're gonna make it to the finals.
Bets?
They're like, I tell you, no, not like bet like for money. I'd be like, no, I'm betting you right now, Knicks will make it to the finals. No way, they're not gonna do it. And at the time, that was no way in my mind that would not happen. Like 100% they'll be there. Now, scary. You win the NBA Cup, you think, oh, that's the start. That's the launch point, right? We're getting started. That's the momentum's building, and then it's like someone pulled the rug.
Yeah.
Whole team collapse. It seems like from how the media is portraying it, it's like a little bit locker room issues and like, they're not the same team that they were in that playoff run where they were all fun and all cordial. But it's a lot of what I like, at least about how the players are handling it. It's a lot of self-inflection, right? They're not blaming, it's Karl Anthony Towns, it's Mikal Bridges. They're like, okay, it's on me. And they don't blame the fans for booing. They did not for the Mavericks
that's
game.
Knicks.
Did you see that?
That's Knicks fans.
Oh yeah,
I would say East Coast fans, Knicks fans, Philly fans, Milwaukee fans now. They're going to be brutal. They're going to be brutal, but at the same time, what do you think's going to work for them? And I mean, it's just coming to me now. Maybe the success is lacking because a certain guy named Thibodeau is not in that head coaching spot anymore. I mean, the guy that took you to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in a bajillion years.
Oh yeah, no, I 1,000. I would love to disagree, but I can't. Thibodeau, man, I loved him. I was shocked when they fired him. Mike Brown, I mean, he's a good coach. I didn't know if he'd be the right coach, and he looked like the right coach no longer, right? So I think you can expect to see probably some movement. Especially before the trade deadline. Obviously, there's been a lot of talks, but nothing's happening, as I'm sure you guys have already talked about.
Yeah, well, we were talking about where are the trades at? Because a lot of players, the Giannis's, the Kumingas now, the Ja Morants, they've made it apparent that they want to go, but teams aren't throwing their hat in the rings yet. The only person that's gotten trade worth of notice is Trae Young.
Yeah.
And that brother went to Washington. So, the teams that are actually starting to look at the writing as the wall, as I said, the Knicks is kind of one of them that I see right now. I feel like they should start seeing the writing on the wall because if I'm being totally honest, you guys can disagree with me, but this Jason Tatum-less Celtics team?
Oh, no.
I don't know if you guys meet them in a series and Jason Tatum isn't available, but Jaylen Brown, at least the way that he's been playing for them, I don't know if I could comfortably say that you guys win.
Wow. I
disagree. I think
I don't know.
I disagree.
Give me a full 7-game series of any 2 teams in the East, and give me the Knicks and the Cavs in all of them.
We have to realize that teams slide in the NBA. We saw the Thunder had one of the second best start to a season in NBA history.
Yeah.
And then proceeded to lose 6 of 12 games. So not great. Now I know the Knicks have lost more than that in a longer stretch, but sometimes that's what happens in the middle of a season. you're still adjusting. You get tired. It's January. You still have 3 months to become a full team because, like you said, it's a new coach. It's a slightly new roster. And so you're still kind of meshing together. And it doesn't get important until March and April. And I think that besides the Pistons, really no one is looking that impressive in the East right now besides the Knicks. And so the Knicks have the experience. They've been to the playoffs for 3 years in a row now?
Yeah.
And so I would
Count 'em.
I would trust them and the Cavs the most when we actually get to the postseason for their players to show up. And I just think that they're probably going to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. And we're talking about them like they're the Cavs right now, like they're the 7th seed and they have to catch up in the standings. But they're the 3rd. All right. They were the 2nd seed and the 1st seed for a while. And so they can still get there. And
I mean, the Cavs are only a game and a half.
I know. We have 40 games left in the season for them to figure it out, and I do not think that their season is close to being in jeopardy.
No, and one thing I'll add to that is there is no better place to be struggling right now than in the East in 2026.
Yeah.
There is no better place. Nowhere does seeding matter less. Nowhere is it possible to climb up as high as in the standings as you can. I mean, I'm a Cavs fan, and we have been abysmal. I mean, it's brutal to watch every night, basically. But we are now 3 games back of the 2 seed.
Yeah.
That's a week or 2 of good basketball.
Sure.
Some luck. And so there's no better place to be going through it right now than in the East right now, where seeding doesn't matter. It's all packed in outside the Pistons.
Mhm.
But are you really worried about the Pistons in the playoffs as much as, the Western teams? Like, if you can't beat the Pistons, you're not going to beat a Western team anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if now's the time to figure it out. They have until the end of the year. I don't see the Knicks not making the postseason.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously.
No, they'll make it. They'll make
They
it.
have months to figure this out. Seeding is not that important. So there's no better place to be struggling right now.
I will tell you, though, that the 2 teams, I know it's only been 2, that have won the NBA Cup have not won a playoff series.
It's not. We're breaking that. We're breaking that cycle before it becomes.
We shall see.
And it's got to end.
We shall see.
I mean, I understand that there's clearly some disagreement that, the Knicks they have some time, just like how the Cavs have some time. Gentlemen, what if I told you I had a secret?
Mhm.
What if I told you that I can predict
Oh, boy.
that you guys in your teams are probably not going to win the championship this year? Now, I know that everybody says that's not very hard to predict, but I have
I'll tell you, my team's not winning anything.
I have history on my side and statistics, boys. And I'm going to tell you who are the 4 teams that can only be the winners of this championship this year.
Okay.
For those that don't know, we know that there's a 65-game rule for awards and whatnot, but the NBA has a secret 27th game rule. Since the modern era, which is 1980, if a team didn't win 27 to 30 games after the first 40 games of the regular season, they historically had a very, very, very low chance of winning the championship, aka eliminated from the chip before they even made it, before they had a chance. Here's some examples of just like elite teams that have won. Obviously, you got the 96 Bulls, the 2017 Warriors, the 2013 Heat. Those are 15% of the champions that have just happened since the modern era. They all won 31 games, 31 plus games. The most, but that doesn't mean necessarily that you are the most favored to win the championship, which is why I say it's the 27-game rule, because if you win the sweet spot between 27 to 30 games, that's roughly where 65 to 70% of NBA champions happened. So,
So there's been 30% that won less than 27 but didn't.
yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not that bad.
It's not terrible odds.
30% is
Let's-
not terrible.
Less than that, though, the extremely rare champions
Okay.
that have won 23 games, less or equal to or less than, were at least in the modern era that I can only compare to that's happened. The 1995 Rockets, that won 24 games, the 2004 Pistons who won 25, and the only 2010/2020s example was the 2021 Bucks. But that was a shortened season because they only played 72 games. Which means if your team did not win at least 27 games after 40 games of the regular season, your chances are about as high as the 2020 Lakers or the 2011 Mavericks, who had to have certain things happen. They had to have the cards fall right in their position. So the teams that do fall in that category are the Suns, the Celtics, the Rockets, the Lakers, and the Knicks. Oh, you still have a chance, but you don't fall in that 75%. The Raptors, Sixers, Magic, and Heat, they have the lowest chances because they all tied around 23 to 22 games, which means that your Cavs have already been statistically eliminated.
I mean, we'll have to see. But
Wait, how can we be there yet? Because most teams have just hit the midway of the 40s point.
It's been 44 games across the board for every single team of the season.
yeah, it's in your first 40.
First to 40.
Oh, in your first 40 games, you have to win.
In your
20.
first...
Oh, I thought you were saying the last 40 games you have to win.
Oh, no. It's the first 40 games.
Your first 40, you have to win 27.
You have to win 27. And if you haven't, sorry. It's time to write a thank you fans post.
I will point you, though, to the Bucks in 2021-22. I know it was a shortened season, but it doesn't change the fact that doesn't change their winning percentage in the first 40 games because the first 40 games still happened.
Yes.
And it was, 10 games shorter, yes. But the East was a lot weaker than the West.
Oh, I don't know.
West was...
You had the 2021
I would say the East was
Nets.
stronger than the West.
Yeah.
There were 4 teams in the East that would have been in the top 2 seeds in the East. 4 teams in the West that would have been in the top 2 teams in the East. The bottom of the East was an absolute mess. The bottom of the West was a whole lot stronger. There was no playoff teams from the West with a below 500 record. There was one from the East and an exactly 500 record. The West statistically was much stronger. I will give you the argument that some of those teams struggled.
But the Bucks still won that year.
They did win.
The year that the Jazz were the 1 seed, no?
Yes.
Yes, it was. It was also the year that the Suns went to the
The
finals.
Suns were the 2 seed.
That was
They
a
beat
good
the Lakers.
team.
The Nuggets and Clippers were also the top 4 seeds.
Yes.
They were also would have been top 2 in the East.
Mavericks as well.
And all I'm saying is in the East that year, it was a lot more wide open than the West to get to the top. It was a lot more accessible to hit your top 3 seeds, just like the Bucks ended in the 3rd seed. If you end in the top 3 seeds, it's going to be a whole lot easier. And yes, most of the teams who don't win 27 of their first 40 are not going to end in those top 3 seeds.
Yeah.
But this is a year in the East where you can win 18 of your first 40 games and absolutely finish as the 2 seed.
Yeah.
But what if I told you that the East has always been weak?
It has
That
always been
those
weak.
teams didn't win.
I would say that East is stronger than this East.
Boys,
Exactly. So this one's even more wide open. This is the easiest path to a final from a conference we've seen in a long time. And
we're talking like 2017 to 2018 Eastern Conference, right?
But I also think that the 2021 season, the difference between it was the Bucks and Suns, I think that was a very close series.
Yes. Great series.
Amazing
Arguably
and amazing
the
NBA
best
finals.
last couple years.
I can't
It was
see
amazing.
any team in the East that would be even close to favored against any of the top 4 seeds in the West right now. I just think
I have one.
I would
way stronger.
I would agree with that part. But what I'm saying is once you're in the NBA finals, you can't count a team out 100%. Once you're there, you're there.
Yeah.
I agree.
And it is so much easier this year even than the last year in the East to make it. And I think I can't count. There are plenty of teams in the East I can count out. Even ones with higher records than the Cavs. The Raptors are not going to be in the NBA finals.
Yes, and that's why they're
But-
sitting down at this very unlikely measure, which is roughly, let's say you got like the top 15%, which is the elite teams that have won championships. is like the Thunder from
Yes.
last year.
Yeah.
And
They won a bunch of games.
And the Cavs from last year. So they could just flip
And
it
the
around.
Cavs. But because the Cavs had such a high seed, they weren't the most favorable / most common champion.
Well, it's because there's not many teams every year that do win 31. There's way more that win 27 to 30.
But hypothetically, if you're that elite, shouldn't you be the most favored to win the championship?
Yeah, but it doesn't happen every year, especially with slow starts and all that. But yeah, the Cavs, I just think the Cavs are hopefully going to do the opposite of last year.
We'll see.
Flourish in the second half when
see.
Garland comes
I think
back.
the Cavs do absolutely have a chance just because of, like you said, the East is weak. But I think that's really the only reason I'm giving to them right now. It's not really because of them. It's because of who they're going against.
Yeah, and I think they have, in my opinion, I still believe they are. At the start of the season, I would have put them at the first, maybe the second behind the Knicks. Now I will give them the third highest chances to win the East.
Well, I'll tell you right now who has the third highest chances, and it's not the Cavs. Sorry, in the East. Yeah, it's not the Cavs.
So is the first Detroit.
No, I'm giving the
probably.
Knicks one. in my
So,
I would give them.
I think so, too.
The betting on
boys, gentlemen, I have history on my side, and I'm telling you right now, I'm looking into my crystal ball, and the Knicks, theoretically, already are at a huge disadvantage to history, and they're less favored to win the championship than these teams.
I think that's just a general thing you take with the Knicks. They're generally just
But
not going to do it.
But because of history, these are the teams that are going to win the championship or fall very short. The Thunder, who would have guessed, they are part of that top 15% because they've won so many games. Now that doesn't mean that they are the most favored technically, but they are a part of the elite. The Detroit Pistons sit right there at 2.
But they do have JB Bickerstaff at the helm.
They're not.
They
I have watched JB Bickerstaff teams in the playoffs when he was a Cavalier coach.
You could argue
Gave
they
a
were
lot.
one bad call away from flipping a series and heading to the Eastern Conference Finals
That was after JB, wasn't it? Or like last year's or 2 years ago?
last year.
Last year, that was
the first round.
Atkinson.
Oh, it was Atkinson
Last year's the head coach was Atkinson. Bickerstaff left
for Detroit.
for Detroit.
Well, last year they lost in the first round,
Yeah. So it would have.
so they wouldn't have gone to the Eastern, but they could have.
But they could have rode all the way.
They could have.
Yeah, who knows?
But he historically in the postseason has not performed.
All right,
He's been a
that's
great
true.
developmental coach. I think he was the perfect hire. And then some point they're going to fail a few times, kick him out the door, bring in a new coach, and succeed higher.
All right. Well, according to history, the Pistons this year are quote unquote elite,
Okay.
and they could be favored to win. But the real potential champions are between these three teams, and it kind of hurts me to say. The San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah.
They won 29 games.
Yep.
The Denver Nuggets, who have survived without Jokic, have won 28 games. And the Minnesota Timberwolves, 27 exactly.
Yeah, they're not winning.
Between those three teams, you guys can make your pick. I think I already know who to make
Oh yeah.
for the champion.
Spurs.
Due to history and due to my crystal ball knowledge, your 2025 to 2026 champions will be after beating the Minnesota Timberwolves in the Western Conference Finals.
Whoa.
Okay.
After beating the Detroit Pistons in the NBA Finals.
It's not-
Your 2025 to 2026 champions
Don't
are
say.
the San Antonio Spurs.
Okay.
Okay.
I know you got history. I know you got all that. I have game film. Give me the Thunder.
Thunder.
Well, if we're talking about game film,
If we're talking about game film,
if we run into a Western Conference Finals of the Thunder and the Spurs,
It's the Spurs.
I'm picking the Spurs.
You have to.
I'm picking the Spurs, and I'm picking right now the Timberwolves. A better shot against the round 2 against the Thunder. They can knock them
The
out. early.
Timberwolves are not beating the
But
Thunder.
if we're talking,
No.
The Timberwolves are not beating the Thunder.
almost every time we see a team's first chance to make a real run from a high seed, the role players around the stars cannot perform. And I think that's what's going to happen to Spurs. I could see them going out in the second round. The West is so tough.
What?
The West is so tough. I mean, that means your second round matchup is more than likely Jokic and the Nuggets. And I believe Jokic and the Nuggets are going to beat the Spurs in the second round
Okay.
and then lose to the Thunder in the Western Conference Finals.
All right. I will say the Timberwolves and the Thunder have split series so far, if you count the cup.
Yeah.
So the Timberwolves may or may not have, and they won by less than 10 points. So the Timberwolves might have a better shot in round 2 against the Thunder series. But nevertheless, I'm sorry to Knicks fans,
Yeah.
Warriors fans, of course, and Cavs fans.
Tough year.
Sorry
to KD fans too.
to KD fans.
Yeah.
Everyone's
the Rockets,
struggling.
they were barely meeting that category as well. They're at 25 games. It's not going to cut it. It's not the 27th.
And an honorary rest in peace to Edward and the Hornets.
Honorary,
we knew.
wherever he is. But yeah, I just predicted the champ, man. So let's celebrate and let's play a little game, y'all. Because why not? Yeah, for you the new guy here, we like to play games here.
Yeah, we play lots of games.
On
like that.
Views from the Sideline. So yeah, we're about to play a little game here that is a little new, but we're gonna make it work because we love having these types of games for this show, considering that it's different from TOT, and you have the multiple people that show up there, but for us, we like to have fun here. We like to have fun here, and if I just go back through, give me one moment.
Well, you're setting that up. So what you think Spurs for winning the whole thing? Do you guys have any early, I guess,
Thunder.
you think Thunder?
Mm-hmm. As much as I
I can't really say because
That's
for me,
fair. No, that's fair.
it depends on the matchups in the playoffs. Like if the Spurs and the Thunder face off, I would pick the Spurs. But if, like you said, the Nuggets could eliminate the Spurs, I would pick the Thunder to win.
I would ideally the Cavs, but
Yeah.
I would
Oh,
that. I would love to see the Nuggets make a run. I mean, I love Jokic.
Yeah,
Always have.
the Warriors.
can't.
The Warriors are winning it all.
I can't. And that's where we go into our game show, gentlemen. We got deal or no deal.
Ooh.
Now, what does that mean? We have some players here that have been their franchise star for quite a while. Now, if you guys want to keep that franchise star, you say no deal. But if you believe that this team should perhaps pivot to another teammate of theirs for their future that you would want to build around for them, you say deal.
Okay.
Okay.
You guys
All right.
ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. For the first one, we got to make it a little easy. Deal or no deal, gentlemen. Bam Adebayo is currently the franchise guy. He's been around the longest. Deal or no deal? You quit it with him and you run with Tyler Hero.
Can I no deal on both of them?
Can I package both of them for someone else?
Gentlemen,
Yeah,
we have to be nice here.
Okay, so if we want to keep Bam, we go no deal.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
And you guys all fire away in your own way at the same time.
No
Oh,
deal.
no deal. No.
No deal.
Okay. So you're sticking with Bam.
Sticking with
Yeah.
Sorry, Tyler. I would actually say deal here.
Really?
Wow.
Why would you
I
say
think-
deal?
I think they need a more versatile guard. If you're building your franchise around a guard, I think you really need a special player, and Hero's
I think-
not that.
For me, my thoughts are on a championship team. I think I can see Bam Adebayo being the secondary guy.
Yeah.
I think I can only see.
Bio currently right now.
That's true, but I think I could only see Tyler Hero being the third guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Championship.
Yeah.
That's fair. But you know what? He's young, he's got the youth, and if that's not it, then Bam's always there for the vibes. So
Yeah.
thanks, Bam. Next up, deal or no deal?
Ooh.
Devin Booker or Jalen Green?
So easy.
No deal.
Yeah.
No deal
No deal.
For Booker?
for Booker.
No deal.
Yeah.
No deal.
Booker's 29.
He is 29.
He has a good many years left. And Jalen Green, while he's been a decent star, he has yet to show consistent flashes of being a good player. And he's also been very injury prone this year. So I just see no reason not to continue on with Booker, considering he's brought them to a finals before.
As an NBA fan, I would love to see Devin Booker go somewhere else.
Yeah.
I would love to see Devin
You get a
Booker
good package for him,
content.
and you build around a guy that can maybe do some of the same things that he does. I personally say deal.
I do think the Suns at some point got to just tank.
Yeah.
They're kind of stuck. But I don't think Jalen Green is the one either. I think it's a guy that they got to draft. But
They're killing me.
Yeah.
They're killing me, Smalls.
I would.
They said
would
bad
say
decisions.
it is time to move on
Probably from
from Devin
yeah.
Booker, and
been a
for
while.
Devin Booker's sake,
Yeah.
get him on another contending team.
Unless he's going to end up like Lillard, right?
Yeah. You can come back. Yeah, he could come back later when he's just chilling off of contracts.
I think Booker's the type of guy where if he was turned into like a Kyrie situation where he gets traded to be a number 2, he would be the best number 2 in the league.
I mean, he was the
Easily.
number 2.
He was. It didn't go. So
He was the number 2
Yeah.
twice.
He just needs a real roster.
Yeah,
Chris
real
Paul.
roster, and he has to be number 1, I think.
I don't think Chris Paul was the number 1.
Now, Devin Booker might have been the scoring go-to guy, but Chris Paul was at the helm for that Phoenix Suns squad.
I do think he needs to be beside a really strong point guard. I still count Booker as the one, like the number 1 player, but I do think pairing him alongside someone like, I mean, obviously you're not going to find another Chris Paul, but
No.
someone who can play make, who can move off the ball as well. Man, that Suns roster should have won one.
It's okay. It's okay, Jalen. I believe in you.
Like,
All right. Next up, deal or no deal, gentlemen.
Oh.
We're getting a little old school. Deal or no deal on Kawhi Leonard.
Force them both into retirement.
Deal. Give me
Deal.
James
Like the
Harden.
Deal.
James Harden.
Give me
First
James
deal
Harden.
is James Harden.
Yeah.
I want to say no deal. I don't know.
Really?
Really? You want to stick with Kawhi?
I want to stick with Kawhi. I just like that he adds to both sides a lot more. I mean, obviously, Harden's going to score more.
But what has Kawhi impacted for a franchise outside of Toronto, like in the last couple years? Like what has he done that you would want to build around that guy as opposed to this guy who has showcased that he's still got a lot more left in the tank and that he can elevate your best guy if he needs to be. Joel Embiid, great lob threat, boom. Chris Paul, elevating you too. He's gonna let me do my thing though, boom. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, I'm gonna make you guys better. I'm gonna be the one. Kyrie, you're the 2, boom. And without Kawhi Leonard, James Harden's pretty solid. So
Okay.
I'm saying deal.
Of course. It's always going to be, feels like it's going to be 3-1 every time. Right?
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily.
So if you put up the Knicks up here, I mean,
No. Thankfully, the Knicks are not here. I would not do that to Jalen Brunson.
good.
But this one I will do. Deal or no deal on John Morant?
I mean,
Deal.
Yeah.
he kind of makes you pick deal.
Yeah, he does.
He does.
Deal.
I'm so proud of this mature decision, gentlemen.
If this is 2022, that is an obvious no deal. But we know that they're done with him.
Yeah.
It's almost kind of like the Warriors situation where like he's on the team, but you know he's not on the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know they're ready to ship him. They are just most likely waiting for the right deal, and it's just gone so far south. But we don't even know if anyone else wants
That's
John
what.
Morant.
Yeah.
So it's such a complicated situation where
And honestly, I think that defense is more valuable to have. Outside of my Bam Adebayo excuse, I think that Jaren Jackson Jr. at this current point, more people would rather have a Jaren Jackson Jr. available on their team because it's so rare. An explosive guard that has off the court antics, I'm cool.
Yeah.
I'm cool.
There's also one other guy on that roster that I would absolutely take a deal on, and that's Cedric Coward. He's gonna be so good.
Cedric, yeah.
What an efficient scorer. for
I had
a rookie.
to go with Triple J just because
Yes,
he's been there
absolutely.
longer. But yeah, there is some good guys. Jalen Wells, of course. But for now. But you know what? Since you just spoke, I'm just gonna talk about this real quick.
Oh, wow.
Deal or no deal on D Mitch?
Absolutely not.
You think no deal?
So I thought Evan Mobley was your guy. What happened?
I did too.
You did too.
Man, they tried. They really tried at the start of the season for him to be
He's talking like Arthur in Red Dead.
the guy.
I tried, Dutch. In the end,
Did and it's just not quite there. It's so close. It's so close, but it doesn't feel like it's there. He doesn't quite get to the spot he wants to. He like almost gets to his spot, and sometimes they still go in, but they're the turnovers in the post, and it can be so frustrating to watch because he has all the tools. I love Evan Mobley. He's just never going to be the best player on an NBA.
Really? You don't think long term? Because I'm
Your
like you're
DPOI.
saying, he's having issues, right? But it's because I feel like he's young. He's still adapting. I mean, he's not that old.
In today's
Plateauing, and it's like he took a huge leap last year, and then they were like this. He were giving him the keys,
Yeah.
and then he dropped them.
in today's league, I don't think you can build around a player that is solely defense first without having much offense to come along. Because I think what you're saying is they were ready to build around him because they saw his offense was finally starting to come along, and this year it's kind of regressed a little bit. So it's harder to build off just that type of archetype player. Whereas D-Mitch is a pure scorer, and that's easier to build around.
What I will say is I want both of them. I want both of them
absolutely.
on the team. I want
But if you're gonna
Mobley at the 5.
But if you're gonna deal or no deal, man, you're gonna keep the guy as Spider.
I am. He is so important.
All right. Well, you're keeping a guy that doesn't want to be there. All right. Next up,
Oh,
deal or no deal. Jason Tatum. Right now, Jason Tatum.
So not
No deal.
yeah, no deal. You
Dude,
can't.
Tatum is in his 8th season.
no
You
deal.
guys realize that he's trying to come back from an Achilles tear that happened
Oh,
8
yeah.
months ago,
That's
right?
okay. If I'm the GM, I'm telling him not to rush it, but I'm not picking Mr. Right Hand only in front of him. Tatum has been like an arguable top 5 player
And what
for
is
7 seasons.
and what has Jaylen Brown consistently the narrative been with his teammate? Who is better? Who won the Finals MVP when it really mattered most? Who at what point during multiple times of the regular season are people constantly confused who's really better?
Give me Tatum.
Give me Tatum.
I mean,
I love what Jaylen Brown's done this year, and he's proved that he can be the best player on an NBA.
If I'm being
Finals
totally honest, Jaylen Brown should be on the MVP candidate list this
Oh,
season.
I
He
agree.
will be.
he should be.
I think he will be at 3 if Jokic plays enough games. But maybe 4 behind Luka. I don't know. But it's just not. Jason Tatum is so special.
Yeah.
He's special, but his game is so dependent on his athleticism.
That's fair.
And
no
and
killing.
getting to the rack and after an Achilles right now,
But he is healing so quickly that they need to slow him down. But him healing so quickly is like shows some promise that,
Yeah.
that if they slow him down, he's gonna be all right.
it shows promise. But keep in mind, guys, Kevin Durant only came the way that he did, came back the way he did, because he was out for basically 2 years. Because he was out that entire offseason from 2019 to 2021.
I mean, modern medicine is evolving rapidly.
It's
to be
amazing.
honest, and I think like Aaron Rodgers, you can't. It's way different sport. But he came back.
Older.
He is older, but he came back in still like a shorter timetable, and so yes, it's going to limit him in his first few months. But if we're building a team around him, I'm also looking into the next few years, and I think
Yeah.
Tatum will return to the player he has been, because yes, he's relying on athleticism, but also I don't think it's going to affect him too terribly because he's still a younger
No.
player. So
Okay.
So
We'll see.
Jaylen Brown is incredible. He's a
Brown's-
one.
it's not a diss on Brown, but Tatum I think is just obviously the better player.
Yeah, and I feel like Tatum has to be your number one guy if he's on your team. So if you're going to go no deal, you're not going to have Tatum anymore. And is that a player you're willing to give away? I don't think so.
It's not a guy that I would. I'm not saying it doesn't help that I'm a Jason Tatum. That I don't like Jason Tatum.
Well,
but he is an uber talented guy, and he should have been the go-to guy for years to come. You know, and not been compared to his teammate in this way. But I just really don't advocate for rushing yourself like this in this injury.
no.
I agree.
And, you know, modern medicine is great, but Klay Thompson is a fresh example of modern medicine in modern medicine era, who has undoubtedly been significantly worse since his time on the Warriors, at least since the time in that game 6 of 2019. And then I just really think that there's only going to be a few outliers, and I will pray that he is one of those guys next to the Wilkins and the KDs, but I just can't take that gamble.
Okay.
So I'm going to say deal.
Wow.
Fair.
And I think this is the last one.
Deal.
Deal or no deal on Joel Embiid?
Deal.
Single-
Deal. Stop that. Stop that.
This is
already
so
better.
easy.
He's already the face of the team.
Maxey has been
already
one of
the
the
star.
most improved players in the league. Like, he's one of the best scorers in the league now.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy how he just jumped, and he's still kind of going under the radar. Like, I don't know how many games he scored 35 points, but it's a lot.
He's averaging. I think he's averaging maybe the most. At least in the Eastern Conference, he's averaging like 33.
I think
he dropped down to 30 recently.
I think
but
he's
he's still at 30.
He's still in contention for the scoring title this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Embiid is just not the player. If we're talking about injuries,
Yeah.
Embiid is not the player.
I
he
just
was.
watched the Rockets lose to them in overtime, which bothered the heck out of me. We missed like 50% of our free throws.
Basketball core.
And and Embiid, of course, he got his free throws. But I was just looking at him out there, man. And the clips that we've seen, I think, what game was it that he got dunked on he got postered 3 times in a single game? It might have been against Cleveland.
It was DeAndre Hunter put him on his knees.
Yeah, it was more than DH. Like 2 more posters happen in that same game. And then during this game, it's the same thing. He just gives up. And Jabari Smith Jr. jams it on his head on an open lane because he can't contest. And he's getting tired from running with Dorian Finney-Smith. Dorian Finney-Smith is making him sweat on defense.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, yeah, I agree. Tyrese is the easy option here.
Yep.
You gotta, if you're Philly, you gotta start building around him more or focusing on him more as the guy with the keys.
Is scoring title total points or points per game?
Points per game.
Okay, then he's third.
Okay.
Luka's at 33.5. He's at 32, and then Tyrese at 30 flat.
Okay. Well,
Those are the only 3 above 30.
Yeah.
well, I mean,
Who has the most points?
Shea,
Shea.
most games.
Well, we know why that's
60.
We know why.
How many of those?
Stop it.
How many of those from a certain?
I will give him a shout out though. 60% from 2 as a guard is crazy.
It is.
Yeah.
He's incredible. As much
But-
as it is a tragedy.
But gentlemen, I believe that's all that we got.
Oh,
I know.
it's too short.
No, it's too short, but that's all the time that we got, gentlemen. Thank you, Jonathan. for
Of
showing
course.
us.
Thank you
Appreciate
for coming out.
Thank you.
Yeah. And as for you guys watching, we'll see you guys in the next episode, Thursdays from 7:30 to 9. We expanded our time a little bit more.
We did.
We did.
All right.